Hey guys, it's Marge. I'm bringing Tirsa in right now, and today on our IG Live, we are going to be speaking with Mindy and Alyssa from the Apparel Mentor. They have a mentor program that Tirsa and I feel is just fantastic. We really think you guys can get a lot out of it. I also want to mention that I may not be able to get Tirsa on here. She's remote. If we can get her. um, and I think that you'll really get a lot out of hearing from Mindy and Alyssa. They just have so much to offer. Mindy runs her own factory, so that's just one whole thing. Is she knows everything from beginning to end about getting started with the fashion, getting started in the fashion industry. So take a look, guys, and we will get them in here right now. Here we go. All right. Mindy and Alyssa, the Apparel Mentor. Hey,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good, really good. So you guys, again, I just want to mention Tirsa is out in the hills today in California. So I don't know if we're going to actually get her on the call. She, oh, maybe I can get her. She is just on the road today, so it's you never know if you can get a connection out there. So I am going to try to bring her in. You guys, this is Mindy from the Apparel Mentor, and
Hello.
Mindy has had her own company for a long time now. But Mindy, can you give us a little bit of background on kind of how you got started in the industry, but also where that took you and where you are now from that?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Mindy Martell. I own a clothing factory called Clothier Design Source. I started that in about 2006. How I got into the industry is I went to school for apparel design manufacturing. I worked a few different types of jobs where I was producing overseas and I was producing domestically. I was head of product development at a couple companies, and quit that and started my own company with really the mission to try to make sense of the industry.
Yeah.
I found out, when I got out of school, even though I had been educated in it, I was thoroughly confused about how it worked and how to get things done, how to end up with good quality. Oh, hi.
She made it.
Yeah.
So Tirsa, Mindy's giving us a little bit of background about how she got started in the industry and how she wound up opening her own factory and everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I was just saying, when I got out of, school and I was educated in clothing, design, and manufacturing, I was still very confused when I got into the industry. So when I started my own company, I went into it with the mission of trying to make sense of the industry and the process, and how to get things done. Because in school, you're taught how to draw a pretty picture and how to make sure something fits and how to make sure.
That's exactly what we said.
Yeah. And you're taught all that, but you're not really taught how do you actually go and make it happen, right?
Yep.
And so that's been my mission ever since 2006 is, so for many, many years, my factory helped startups, people with ideas, and they had the money, they had the brains, they had the marketing, they had the drive, and they couldn't figure out. They're like, I have such a strong desire to get this done, but I cannot figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and we developed a really rigid process to go through, to go from I have an idea in my head to how do you get it manufactured.
Right.
And so that's what we've been doing for years. And then in the last about 5 years, we took everything we learned about helping those startups and those entrepreneurs and developing that process.
Yeah.
And we spun it off. I spun it off into another company called the Apparel Mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so now the Apparel Mentor is 100% dedicated to the educational portion and the mentoring portion of getting somebody from, I have an idea,
Yes,
but I don't know how to get it done,
yeah,
process. And we walk them through that process. And then we still have the factory running as well, which
yeah.
I'm sitting in right now. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's funny, you guys. I've known Mindy. I've known of Mindy, let me say, for a couple of years now. I actually learned about Mindy's company through YouTube. She's got some phenomenal videos right in her factory showing what they do, and they do apparel, types of apparel. Because Mindy is so open to like helping people reach their goal of producing whatever that product might be. They actually have really handled some very novelty product, right, Mindy? I mean, I know I think I found the one where you were making Olympic outfits for the Olympics, which is phenomenal. Like the amount of first thing is construction, because when you're making product for such a specific customer, it's usually got to have very novelty things about it. Like if you're doing ski wear or if you're doing, swimwear or whatever, it's all novelty. This is not your run-of-the-mill everyday factory that can handle it. It's definitely novelty equipment. You need to have skilled workers who know exactly how to be sewing this product. I don't know if you guys ever had to do sealed seams, but these are things that are really not easy, and it takes specialty equipment and specialty people. And that's the kind of stuff that Mindy's factory was handling, which is how I got to know about them. But I actually was so excited to meet Mindy at Text Process in person for the first time, and meeting her students right there who couldn't say enough about the program. So excited for a couple of things. First, to be able to take their product, their napkin sketch idea, and bring it to life, bring it to the market. I mean, that in itself is phenomenal. But what I learned from Mindy's students were that the community that they have within Apparel Mentor is you're not only learning from your own mistakes or mistakes that could be made, which usually Mindy's catching you, she's like pulling you back and saying, wait a second, like before you go and do that, you need to be thinking about this. Do not spend that kind of money before we're at that point and ready. You have to be testing your fabrics. You have to be doing everything that you have to be doing to don't put the cart before the horse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was exciting to, I know and trust everything that I see from Mindy, just knowing everything I see on her YouTube videos, because I lived the business, and knowing that she's not only lived the business, but teaching people is phenomenal. But then to hear a student's perspective, it's like priceless.
Yeah.
Really, that was fantastic, Mindy. It was such a great, how wild that we just happened to all be there at the same time,
Yeah, I know. It was serendipitous. We had some students come by while you were there, so you got to hear. And I'm like, I swear.
Video, and her student walked up and she was like, "Hey!" It was so bizarre.
Yeah, I'm like, I swear I didn't plant her there.
I know.
Yes. You're like, just walk up and you see somebody.
But
Awesome.
But I love that. And it's like, you can only say enough, you can only say so much that you know already. It's different to hear it from someone who had no experience, wasn't trained in the industry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now has their product out there and selling it. And I love that. That's like phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah. It's like I said, so what happened is like our factory just kept growing and growing, and a lot of our clients become successful, and then our factory's like, getting really busy, and so what happened is I was like, it's not sustainable for my same staff who's running the factory to be doing the education anymore. And so that, so that's why we spun off this other company, which is, to me, just been super fulfilling, because that's what I like to do, you know, like
Yes.
making product. Yes, we can do it, right?
Yeah.
But my personal passion is like helping, like you said, helping people avoid those really big mistakes and doing things in the wrong order and wasting money and time. And, you know, I think without some education and without a mentor, I would say the fail rate's very, very, very high.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and not to spend much on there for those individuals too, not being efficient, and they're probably being taken advantage of at some point, because they don't realize the questions to ask and the things to do, and they're spending money where they don't need to before they need to.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So it's funny because that's been my experience, is I wind up consulting for people after the fact, after they've already been burned, and it's such a bad taste in their mouth, and you have to like really it's like walking on glass. They don't trust anything. And we're trying to guide them. It's really hard, you know. So definitely, guys, I want to definitely emphasize to look into Mindy's program, connect with her, the Apparel Mentor on Fashion Index. You know, I have to tell you, the best thing, the biggest thing I was shocked about at the show was that your program is only, what, $99 a month, Mindy?
It's $149. Yep.
Oh, $149 a month. Yep. I mean, like, you guys, this is like, if you've not ever gone to school to learn about these things, that is the smallest investment you can make to save you so much money in the end. And to not only that, but have peers around you who might have the same questions as you. They might bring up questions that you never even thought of. You know, they might be a little bit further down the line in the process, and now you're learning from their experience, and you're saving yourself so much time. So it's like, this is definitely, I mean, you cannot go wrong. I mean, Mindy alone, just having her experience, and that you are only a phone call away, or you know, I think you do video calls as well during the week, don't you?
Yeah. So I can give a little details of what it's like if you become a member. Like you said, it's $149 a month. But what you get for that is full access to our 20 lessons online that are pre-recorded. You get an 84-page workbook. So it's about there's 20 lessons. So it's about 4 pages on average workbook per lesson.
Like, not overwhelming, right?
Yep. We try to keep it where, you know, if you work at a weekly pace, it would take you about an hour to maybe an hour and a half a week to go through it. It's designed for people with day jobs. Yeah. You know, with lives, with family, whatever, you know, and so this is like something they're working towards, but they can't dedicate, you know, 40 hours a week to it. And then also you meet with us. This is the best part. You meet with us once a week live. So, and that's as a community. So we get on a screen like this, and, you know, maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 people will show up per week. And like you said, we're all talking like this. We're talking about the topic of the week. You're hearing everyone's questions. You're learning from people further ahead from you. You're learning from people behind you. And we're all kind of discussing the topic of the week. And you get 4 of those a month. So it's $149 a month, but 4 times a week, you're getting live sessions. You're getting 4 topics. You're getting 4 different workbook things. And then another thing you get is, you know, you log in as a member. And then there's 24/7 messaging to us, which is phenomenal, because
it really is.
If you're like stuck, you're like, I don't know what to say to this vendor. This factory's asking me this thing I don't understand. You just message us and we'll help you make sure you're doing it right.
Yeah. So can I just jump in, because that was actually a huge message from your student, Mindy, was that if you're so Mindy's holding your hand. She's not doing the work for you, but she's there to guide you to do the work. I mean, honestly, if you own your own company, you're going to have to do this work. So you're learning, and then but what's better is this messaging. Like, let's say this: you're negotiating something back and forth with the factory. You don't really know the right way to answer the factory. If you want this factory to take you seriously, it's critical that you are speaking the same language as the factory. So you shoot over a message to Mindy and her team and say, guys, this is what they said to me. This is what I was going to respond. Should I respond that way? Like, they're going to guide you to respond the right way so that you are on the same page as the factory. You're answering them the same way, and then they're respecting you as that manufacturer, and then you're gonna move yourself so much further faster. I just this program is phenomenal, Mindy. I can't say enough about it, and I'm so excited for you guys and what you are offering people. Really, it's just amazing.
So I just wanted to say, because we love Mindy, obviously, you can find her on fashionindex.com, but sign up on Fashion Index and get an account, because we're constantly introducing you to wonderful people. Yes, we have Mindy, but we also have trim suppliers and fabric suppliers, factories, and other people that will collaborate and work cohesively with her to help build your brand. So sign up, and then there's no cost. Just sign up and create your account, and we'll keep you in the know. We'll send you some emails and introduce you to special people, give you wonderful introductions, just like we have Mindy and just like we're doing now. So definitely do that, as well as join us and follow us here. But Mindy is a wonderful resource. She's lived it inside and out. She owns a factory. She really understands. She's going to tell you how to make sure that you're prepared to even work with the factory. Are you ready to talk to a factory yet? And once you're ready to talk to your factory, how do you need to go through the steps? You know, and there's a way of making sure that your colors come out like you want when you get color submissions. There's a lot of details and a lot of language that really is important to learn. And some of it you can learn from osmosis, but with her group, it's all around you. You have a lot of resources and a lot of people who you can learn from, not just Mindy herself and not just all of her wonderful classes and online offerings, but all of the co-students, and they might inspire you to do something differently than even what you thought you were going to start doing.
Right. And I was going to kind of go back to, well, first of all, fashionindex.com, finding all your resources there. It's an amazing place to do that. And then you come to the Apparel Mentor and we'll help you work with those sources.
Yes.
Because I like, the number one complaint I get from startups is, I tried emailing a bunch of factories, nobody gets back to me.
Right.
The factory vendors aren't getting back to me, like nobody's responding. And then the first thing I'm do is like, well, let's take a look at what you were saying to them,
and who you're talking
and who you're talking to. And a lot of times it's just like, well, you're not ready to talk to them. You're coming to them, but you don't have the information all prepared, and they can tell, there's red flags as a new entrepreneur, to factories, to fabric vendors, where they read your email and they're like, whoa, red flag. I don't have time to educate this person. They're so far away from being ready to work with me. And they just, honestly, they just delete the email. And it's not because they're mean or, evil or vindictive. It's because they literally, what their job is to sell fabric, for instance. Their job isn't to educate. It's not in their margins. It's not in their time that they get paid for. They're like, they get paid to sell fabric. And when they realize they're going to have to spend 2 hours with you just to teach you the fundamentals of fabric, they're like, nope, I'm out. I can't help you.
Now I have to commend a lot of the suppliers that are on Fashion Index. They are used to working with smaller, newer startups, so they're more with volume. They're a little more educational and sympathetic. But having somebody like Mindy who really makes you ready makes the process so much smoother, so much faster. And you're going to get out of it what you're anticipating, rather than saying something coming back completely not how you envisioned it, maybe just because you didn't have the right term.
Right.
Get
Right.
there.
Yeah. Another thing I was going to mention is, running into people that have been burned. You mentioned that,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I wish I found you sooner before you spent the last 12 months and spent all this money and whatever,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I always try to stress to people, it's like, people in the industry aren't really trying to screw you over.
Right.
It's about the quality of information that you gave them.
Right.
And so people are like, well, you get burned when you do this, and you get burned in the industry. It's like, no, let's take a look at the quality of information you gave them, and how many things were you assuming they understood.
Right.
And a lot of times that's the root problem. It's not because people are out to burn you. They're just
Great example is, somebody has an idea and they think they found a fabric that they love and they just want to use that in their whole collection. And they talk to a fabric supplier, they ask them, will you have this fabric in 6 months? They're like, well, we don't stock that fabric. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I have to buy it. And then they go out and 5,000 yards because they think it's the right thing, just to find out once it's not what they intended. Now, the fabric supplier was trying to tell you that they're not going to necessarily have it, but they weren't telling you to buy it. They don't know if you're ready or not.
Yeah.
But somebody like Mindy or Marge, we would be able to tell you that. So go talk to Mindy, really get that expertise and know when you're ready to do things and know when you should be spending the money.
Photo first.
Yeah. That's the number one most expensive mistake right there. And I just had somebody come to me not too long ago. They had bought $30,000 worth of fabric, and they were doing a special like maternity yoga pant. And they had prototyped at another facility, and they're like, it's so close. It just needs a little fit adjustment. Can you finish it off? Here's, I've got all this fabric. We're ready to go into production. And so we start doing fit sessions and tweaking it. And through that, we realized what they didn't like was the way the fabric, fabric wasn't compressive enough for what they wanted, but they thought it was just like a fit issue.
Oh my God.
And I just had, it broke my heart. I had to tell them, your root problem is you just bought a ton of the wrong fabric. If we flip the fabric out, you'll have what you want, And it's heartbreaking.
But that is again putting the cart before the horse. You gotta, there's a certain process to follow, and buying fabrics first is not it.
Right.
Oh,
not funny. I mean, it's really understanding the process, and we feel for you when these things happen. We do, and that's why we're encouraging you to talk to Mindy, talk to the Apparel Mentor group, and have somebody in your corner who understands the process and can make sure that you have a great, smooth process.
Yeah, because that fabric vendor, like I said, they're not trying to be mean, but heck, if you're gonna buy 5,000 yards of fabric from you, they're gonna take it. They're not gonna they're not gonna spend the time to make sure you're ready to buy it. They're just like, oh, you want to buy it.
They don't know what the end use is, and it could be that, but maybe that fabric would be perfect for somebody who wasn't doing maternity, who is more of a casual women's collection. It might be perfect for them. So they don't know. They're just trying their job. Their job is to sell fabric, and they thought you loved it, and so they sold it.
Exactly. Yep.
So, well, let me just say this. So I don't like to stay on too long because I feel like we lose people, but I do want to recap that I'm Marge, this is Tirsa, we are from fashionindex.com, but what we want you to do is find Mindy. Mindy is from the Apparel Mentor on Fashion Index, and Mindy can guide you guys please check out her program. It's ridiculously affordable. What you will save in thousands and thousands of dollars of mistakes will be way worth it to be part of Mindy's program. So check it out. You really, it's not meant to be an overwhelming program. It's definitely, she puts it out there so that it's at a pace that you can learn while you're working your regular day job. So this is really ideal. So we really just can't say enough. Really want to encourage you to check out the Apparel Mentor on Fashion Index. Connect with Mindy. She is amazing. You're right.
Hi, Jane. Jane's awesome too.
That's fantastic. You just can't beat the knowledge. I mean, you know, Mindy's sharing years and years of her industry knowledge with you, and you just can't go wrong. Okay, guys?
All right.
So
Awesome.
with
Well, thanks,
that,
guys.
we're gonna post this video so that you can watch it if you only got in on the end of it. So please check it out on the Apparel Mentor on Instagram. We are gonna post it on Fashion Index, our real Fashion Index, and also on YouTube. Okay, guys? So look for us, Mindy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, you're phenomenal. I love what you are doing at the Apparel Mentor. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. We're excited to be part of the Fashion Index.
Thank you. Okay, Tears, have fun in the woods.